I stand before you today not to fill your ears with empty words, but to ignite a fire in your soul. A fire that burns so bright, it'll consume every excuse you have ever made. In this vast universe of infinite possibilities, there's a question that echoes through the corridors of time. What's holding you back? And in the silence that follows, we often hear the faintest whisper of excuses. Excuses are the nails used to build a house of failure. They are the invisible chains that keep us tethered to mediocrity. And today, right here, right now, we are going to break those chains. I once met a young man in the bustling streets of Nassau. His name was Marcus. And he had dreams as vast as the ocean that surrounded our island. But every time I asked him about his progress, he'd say, I am waiting for the right time. Months turned into years, and Marcus was still waiting. One day, I took Marcus to the harbor. We watched as ships of all sizes set sail, cutting through the waves with purpose. I turned to him and said, Marcus, do you think these captains waited for perfect weather, for calm seas? No, they prepared, they planned. And when the time came, they set sail. Come rain or shine, the ship in the harbor is safe. But that's not what ships are built for. My friends, you weren't built to play it safe. You were built to sail, to explore, to conquer. I want you to close your eyes for a moment. Picture your dream. That big, audacious goal that makes your heart race. Got it, good. Now, I want you to think about all the excuses you have made for not pursuing it. I don't have enough time. I don't have the resources. I am not talented enough. What if I fail? Open your eyes. Those excuses you just thought of, they are not protecting you. They are robbing you of your potential, your purpose, your destiny. There was a woman I knew, Sophia, who worked as a janitor at a local school. Every day, she'd mop the floors, clean the windows, and ensure the classrooms were spotless. But Sophia had a dream. She wanted to be a teacher. Now, Sophia could have made a million excuses. I am too old. I don't have the money for education. Who would hire me? But instead of making excuses, Sophia made a plan. She saved every penny she could. She studied at night after her shifts. She volunteered to help teachers during her breaks. It took her 7 years, 7 long, hard years of balancing work, study, and family. But today, Sophia does not clean classrooms anymore. She teaches in them. There's not a student in her class who does not feel the passion and dedication she brings to her role. Excuses don't build dreams, actions do. She knew that the path to her dream wouldn't be easy. But she also knew that the pain of discipline is far less than the pain of regret. That's great for Sophia. But my situation is different. My obstacles are real. And to that, I say, of course they are. Every dream worth pursuing comes with its own set of challenges. Obstacles are not stop signs. They are guidelines. When you are driving and you encounter a roadwork or head sign, do you turn around and go home? No. You proceed with caution. You navigate the challenges and you continue on your journey. Your dreams deserve the same dedication. I want you to understand something fundamental about excuses. They are not just harmless little lies we tell ourselves. They are dream killers. They are future assassins. Every time you make an excuse, you are choosing your comfort zone over your destiny zone. But comfort is the enemy of achievement. In the comfort zone, there's no growth, no challenges, no victories. It's a place where dreams go to die a slow, painless death. When was the last time you felt fear about something insignificant? Fear shows up when we are about to do something important, something that matters. So the next time you feel fear creeping in, don't retreat. Recognize it as a signpost pointing towards your dreams. I once worked with a talented young artist named Amelia. Her paintings were breathtaking, capturing the essence of our beautiful Bahamian landscapes in ways I'd never seen before. But Amelia was paralyzed by fear, fear of criticism, fear of not being good enough, fear of putting herself out there. One day I took Amelia to a local art gallery. As we walked through the exhibits, I asked her to point out the perfect painting. She looked at me, confused. There is no perfect painting, she said. Each one has its strengths and weaknesses. Exactly, I replied. And yet, here they are on display, touching people's hearts, inspiring minds. Perfection is not the price of admission. Amelia, action is. That conversation was a turning point for Amelia. She realized that her excuses, rooted in fear of imperfection, were keeping her art, her gift to the world, locked away. Today, Amelia's paintings don't look at local galleries. They are featured in exhibitions across the Caribbean. Each one a testament to what happens when we choose action over excuses. I want to address something that many of you might be thinking. But what if I fail? What if I put everything on the line and it does not work out? My friends, failure is not the opposite of success. It's part of success. Every great achievement in history was preceded by a string of failures. The light bulb, the airplane, democracy itself, all these world-changing ideas were born from the ashes of countless failures. The only true failure is the failure to try. A baby learning to walk. They fall down countless times. But do we call them failures? Do we tell them to give up and just crawl for the rest of their lives? Of course not. We encourage them. We celebrate their efforts. And we know that each fall brings them closer to that magical moment when they will take their first steps. Your dreams deserve the same patience, the same persistence, the same celebration of effort. Each setback, each obstacle, each moment of doubt, these are not signs of failure. They are opportunities for growth, chances to refine your approach, stepping stones on the path to your destiny. I want you to make me a promise right now. Promise that from this day forward, you will treat your excuses like uninvited guests. You know the kind, they show up unannounced, overstay their welcome, and leave a mess behind. It's time to show your excuses the door. Instead of making excuses, make progress. Instead of finding reasons why you can't, start looking for reasons why you must. The world needs your dream. It needs your passion, your ideas, your unique contribution. Imagine if Thomas Edison had made excuses. Creating a light bulb is too hard. No one has done it before. I have failed hundreds of times already. We'd still be living in darkness. But Edison understood that each failed attempt was not a step back, but a step forward. He famously said, I have not failed. I have just found 10.000 ways that won't work. That's the mindset of a dream builder, not someone who's deterred by obstacles, but someone who sees each challenge as a chance to learn, to grow, to get one step closer to their goal. The most common excuses I hear is, I don't have the resources to pursue my dream. Success is not about resources, it's about resourcefulness. In the heart of Nassau, there's a small restaurant that serves the most delicious conch fritters you have ever tasted. The owner, a woman named Clara, started a business with nothing more than a family recipe and a borrowed cooking pot. She didn't have a fancy kitchen, she didn't have investors, she didn't even have a proper venue. What she had was determination and resourcefulness. Clara started by selling her fritters from a small stand on the beach. She reinvested every dollar she made. She built relationships with local fishermen to get the freshest conch. She experimented with her recipe, refining it based on customer feedback. And slowly but surely, her little stand grew into a thriving restaurant. Clara could have made 1,000 excuses. I don't have enough money. I don't have the right equipment. The market is too competitive. But instead of focusing on what she didn't have, she maximized what she did have. Her creativity, her work ethic, her passion for cooking. That's the power of resourcefulness. It's not about having everything you need to start. It's about starting with everything you have. What resources do you think you are lacking? Money, time, skills, connections. Now, I want you to flip that thinking. Instead of focusing on what you don't have, start inventorying what you do have. Do you have a smartphone? That's a powerful computer in your pocket, a gateway to knowledge, a tool for connecting with people around the world. Do you have a few hours of free time each week? That's an opportunity to learn, to plan, to take small steps towards your goal. You have any skills, any experience, any passion. Those are your unique advantages. Those are foundations upon which you can build your dream. Excuses blind us to the resources we already have. They keep us focused on our limitations instead of our possibilities. But when we shift our mindset from, I can't, because to how can we unlock our true potential. I once met a young entrepreneur named David. He had a brilliant idea for a tech startup, but he was convinced he couldn't pursue it because he didn't have a degree in computer science. I don't have the right background. He'd say, I don't know how to code. So I asked David, what do you know? Turns out, David had a deep understanding of the problem his app would solve. He had experience in customer service, which gave him insights into his needs. He had a network of friends who were programmers. David's excuse was blinding him to the valuable resources he already possessed. Once he recognized these assets, he was able to assemble a team, delegate the technical aspects he couldn't handle, and focus on what he did best, understanding the market and connecting with customers. Today, David's app is used by thousands of people across the Caribbean, all because he stopped making excuses and started leveraging the resources he had. If I had $1 for every time someone told me they don't have time to pursue their dreams, I'd be able to buy a small island. And in the Bahamas, that's saying something. Time is the great equalizer. No matter who you are, where you come from, or what your circumstances are. We all have the same 24 hours in a day. The question is, how are you using yours? I want you to do an exercise with me for the next week. I want you to keep a detailed log of how you spend your time. Every hour, every activity. At the end of the week, review your log. I guarantee you will find pockets of time you didn't even know you had. Maybe you spend an hour each day scrolling through social media. Maybe you watch TV for 2 hours every night. Now, I am not saying you need to eliminate all leisure time. Rest and relaxation are important. But if you are serious about your dreams, you need to be intentional about your time. Could you wake up an hour earlier each day to work on your goals? Could you use your lunch break to study or plan? Could you listen to educational podcasts during your commute? Time is a resource. And like any resource, it needs to be managed wisely. I once worked with a single mother named Tanya. She had a dream of starting her own business, but she was convinced she didn't have the time. Between her full-time job and caring for her 2 children, she felt stretched to the limit. But Tanya was determined. She started by finding 30 minutes each day, just 30 minutes to work on her business plan. She'd wake up a little earlier, use her lunch break, or stay up a bit later after the kids were in bed. It wasn't much, but it was a start. As she made progress, Tanya got more creative with her time management. She involved her children in her business activities, teaching them valuable skills while spending quality time together. She negotiated a more flexible work schedule with her employer. She built a support network of family and friends who could help with childcare. It took time. It took effort. But today, Tanya runs a successful business that allows her to provide for her family on her own terms. All because she stopped making excuses about time and started making time for her dreams. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking, but my situation is different. I have real responsibilities. Real constraints. And you are right, your situation is unique. Your challenges are real. But here's the thing, your dreams are just as real. And they deserve your attention. Your dreams are not some frivolous luxury. They are not a selfish indulgence. Your dreams are your purpose. Your contribution to the world. And the world needs your contribution. Every invention that makes our lives easier, every business that provides valuable services, every piece of art that moves our souls, these all started as someone's dream. Someone who could have made excuses, but chose to take action instead. Another excuse I often hear is, I am not talented enough, but here's the truth, talent is overrated. Effort outweighs talent every single time. I want you to think about the most successful people in your field, the ones you admire, the ones you aspire to be like. Now, I want you to consider this, they once beginners too. They once stood where you stand now, facing the same doubts, the same insecurities. What set them apart was an innate talent. It was a willingness to start before they were ready, to persist when others would have given up, to learn from their failures and keep moving forward. In Nassau, there's a young man named Marcus who dreamed of becoming a chef. Marcus didn't come from a family of cooks. He didn't go to culinary school. In fact, when he started, he could barely boil an egg without burning it. But Marcus had something more valuable than talent. He had passion and perseverance. He got a job as a dishwasher in a local restaurant, just to be close to the kitchen. He'd stay late after his shift, watching the chefs work, asking questions, offering to help. At home, he'd practice relentlessly. He'd save up to buy ingredients, experiment with recipes, and subject his family to countless culinary experiments, some successful, many not so much. It took years of hard work, of burns and cuts of dishes that ended up in the trash. But today, Marcus is one of the most respected chefs in Nassau, not because he was born with a silver spoon in his mouth, but because he refused to let his initial lack of talent become an excuse. Talent is like a seed. It's potential. But potential without effort remains just that, potential. It's the effort you put in, the hours you dedicate, the persistence you show in the face of setbacks. That's what makes the seed of talent grow into the tree of success. So if you are sitting there thinking, I am not talented enough, I want you to reframe that thought. Instead of I am not talented enough, try I'm not skilled enough yet, because skills can be learned, abilities can be developed. Excellence is not born, it's created. The fear of what others might think. How many dreams have been left unpursued because of the fear of judgment, criticism, or ridicule? Imagine you are on your deathbed, looking back on your life. What will matter more in that moment, the opinions of others or the regret of not pursuing your dreams? The truth is, people will always have opinions. They will always have something to say. But their opinions don't pay your bills. Their opinions don't fulfill your purpose. Their opinions don't bring your dreams to life. Only you can do that. In fact, the opinions of others are often a reflection of their own fears and limitations. When someone tells you that your dream is impossible, what they are really saying is that it would be impossible for them. I remember a young woman named Asha who dreamed of becoming a marine biologist, growing up in a small fishing village. Asha's dream was met with skepticism and even ridicule. Why do you need to study the fish? People would ask. Just catch them and sell them like the rest of us. But Asha refused to let their opinions become her reality. She studied hard, applied for scholarships, and eventually earned a degree in marine biology. Today, Asha's work is helping to preserve the very fishing grounds that sustain her village. The same people who once ridiculed her now seek her advice. When you pursue your dreams with passion and determination, you don't just change your own life. You have the power to change the lives of those around you, to shift perspectives, to inspire others to dream bigger. When you take that bold step towards your dreams, you become a beacon of possibility for others. You show them what's achievable when you refuse to let excuses hold you back. Your journey becomes a testament to the power of perseverance, a living example of what happens when dreams are pursued with unwavering determination. When you push past your excuses and strive for your goals, you are not just changing your own life. You are changing the lives of everyone around you. Your children see what's possible when you refuse to settle. Your friends and colleagues are inspired to reach for their own dreams. Even strangers who hear your story are moved to reconsider their own limitations. I once knew a man named Samuel who dreamed of starting a community garden in his neighborhood. It was a tough area, plagued by poverty and crime. Many people told Samuel he was wasting his time. Nothing good grows here, they'd say. But Samuel refused to accept that narrative. He started small, with just a few plants in an abandoned lot. He worked tirelessly, often alone, tending to his garden. Slowly but surely, people began to take notice. Children would stop by after school, curious about the growing plants. Elderly neighbors would offer advice based on their own gardening experiences. As the garden grew, so did the sense of community. People who had never spoken to each other before were now working side by side, planting seeds and harvesting vegetables. The garden became a source of fresh, healthy food in an area that had been a food desert. It became a place of learning, of connection. Samuel's dream didn't just change a vacant lot into a garden. It changed the entire neighborhood. Crime rates dropped. Community engagement increased. Other neglected areas were transformed into spaces of beauty and purpose. All because one man refused to let excuses stand in the way of his vision. This is the power you hold when you choose action over excuses. Your dreams have the potential to create positive change far beyond your own life. They have the power to inspire, to uplift, to transform entire communities. This power remains dormant as long as you let excuses rule your life. Every time you say, I can't because, you are not just limiting yourself, you are limiting the positive impact you could have on a world around you. So I challenge you to think bigger, to dream not just for yourself, but for the ripple effect your achievements could create. What problems could you solve? What innovations could you bring to life? What inspiration could you provide? Remember, every movement, every world-changing idea, every leap forward in human progress started with a single person who dared to dream big and act on that dream. When Martin Luther King Jr. shared his dream of equality and justice, he inspired a nation to examine its conscience and strive for a better future. When Marie Curie pursued her passion for science, despite the gender barriers of her time, she not only made groundbreaking discoveries, but also paved the way for generations of women in STEM fields. These individuals didn't have any special advantages. They faced obstacles, doubts, and setbacks just like anyone else. But they understood a fundamental truth, that the size of your impact is directly proportional to the size of your intensity of your action. So I ask you, what's the size of your dream? Are you dreaming big enough? Are you considering not just what you can achieve, but what your achievement could mean for others? It's time to let go of the excuses that have been holding you back. It's time to embrace the full potential of your dreams. Because when you do, you become a force for positive change in the world. The problems in your community, in your country, in the world. Now, imagine the solutions you could provide if you stopped making excuses and started taking action. Imagine the lives you could touch, the systems you could improve, the hope you could inspire. Your dream of starting a business that could create jobs in your community, provide valuable services, and inspire other entrepreneurs. Your dream of writing a book that could touch hearts, change minds, and provide solace or inspiration to people you will never meet. Your dream of inventing a new technology that could solve problems, improve lives, and push humanity forward. But none of this can happen if you let excuses stand in your way. None of this can happen if you keep your dreams small and safe, hidden behind a wall of, I can't because. It's time to tear down that wall. It's time to let your dreams breathe, to let them grow to their full potential. Because when you do, you are not just changing your life, you are changing the world. Now, I know this might sound overwhelming. The idea of changing the world can seem like too much pressure, too big a task. But remember, world-changing impact does not always come in grand, sweeping gestures. More often it comes in small, consistent actions that compound over time. Think about a pebble dropped in a pond. On its own, it creates a small splash and a few ripples. But if you keep dropping pebbles, day after day, those ripples ensure them to reshape the shoreline. That's how real, lasting change happens. Not in one dramatic moment, but in the accumulated effect of persistent effort. So don't let the size of your dream intimidate you into inaction. Instead, let it inspire you to take that first step, and then the next, and the next, Let it motivate you to keep going when things get tough, to push through the obstacles, to rise above the excuses. The world needs your dream. It needs your unique perspective, your passionate effort. The problems we face as a society, as a species, won't be solved by people making excuses. They will be solved by people like you who dare to dream big and have the courage to act on those dreams. So I challenge you right here, right now, to make a commitment to your dreams, to your potential, to the positive impact you can have on the world. A commitment to stop making excuses and start taking action. It won't be easy. There will be days when the excuses seem more compelling than ever. Days when the obstacles seem insurmountable. Days when it feels like the easiest thing would be to give up and retreat to your comfort zone. But in those moments, I want you to remember this: your dreams are not just about you. They are about every life you could touch, every problem you could solve, every bit of inspiration you could provide. They are about the better world you could help create. So the next time you find yourself making an excuse, I want you to pause and ask yourself this question: is this excuse more important than my dream? Is it more important than the impact I could have? I think you will find that the answer is always no. No excuse is more important than your potential. No obstacle is more significant than the difference you could make. So let today be the day you stop making excuses and start making progress. Let today be the day you commit to your dreams with everything you have got. Because when you do, you are not just building your own future. You are helping to build a better future for us all. Remember, every great achievement, every positive change, every step forward in human progress started with someone who refused to make excuses. Someone who dared to dream big and had the courage to act on that dream. That someone can be you. In fact, that someone must be you. Because your dreams, your ideas, your potential impact, they are too important to be left unrealized. The world is waiting for your contribution, for the unique value that only you can provide. So go forth and dream big. Act boldly. Push past the excuses and step into your full potential. Because when you do, you don't just change your own life, you change the world. And that, my friends, is the true power of choosing action over excuses. That's the real magic of pursuing your dreams with unwavering determination. That's the legacy you can create when you refuse to let excuses stand in your way. So I ask you one last time, what's your dream? And more importantly, what are you going to do about it? The world is waiting for your answer. It's waiting for your action. It's waiting for the positive change that only you can bring. And don't keep it waiting. Start now. Dream big. Act boldly. And watch as your actions ripple out, touching lives, solving problems, and making the world a little bit better, one dream at a time.